All right. We're still looking forward to the kingdom. We're still looking forward to the kingdom. And there's some things that we want to discuss today, but let's go ahead and get the preliminaries out the way. Rules are the rules. Well, I don't know. Sometimes they seem optional. Please keep your mic muted except when asking or answering a question. Use the mic to speak. There is a feature in the room, Zoom, where you can raise your hand if you have a question. All questions must be on the topic. You have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. For those that are in the room, you also have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. There is a mic at each table that can be used. All statements in the room must be limited to 20 seconds. The microphones on the table can be used to share with others that may not hear you online. These rules are due to time and recordings of the lessons. These are live teachings, and we must give the Moria enough time to complete the lessons. This will be mixed with discussion to help build one another. Please do not abuse the time. All right. Of course, our disclaimer. Do not take anything personal and miss the message that is being given to help you grow in righteousness, knowledge, understanding, and to make you wise unto salvation through the faith in Mashiach Yahusha. Hallelujah. All right, let's go into it. All right, I'm going to put some definitions out there first. Yeah, I'm going to do some definitions. Just kind of make you aware of some things before we walk into the scripture. Uh, let's define persecution. Persecution. Anybody? I am. I am. What you see? What you think persecution is?
Punishment for something you done wrong.
Punishment. Oh, okay. That can be Yahusha Dawood.
Yeah. Treated kind of being treated hostile,
Being treated
based
hostile.
on your race or religion,
It could be based on.
or
Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. What else? Who's that? Who's Namana?
It could also mean like oppression, for you to be oppressed for what you believe.
Mm-hmm. And I see the. I guess more. Okay. Iman. Iman.
Hostility.
Hostility. Okay. Jacob.
Ill treatment.
Ill treatment. Okay. So I'm going to do both persecution and persecute just to give myself I don't want to belabor it too much. All right. All right. To pursue with hostile, harassing or oppressive treatment, especially because of religion or political reasons, political beliefs, ethics, or racial origins. And you had to add these other two little things on the end of that. All right. Or to annoy or trouble persistently. This is persecution. This is the generic definition of it. All right. The persecute. Let's go with that one. All right. To harass or punish. All right. In a manner designed to injure, grieve, or afflict. These words are going to all be synonymous with each other. You're going to see. To cause to suffer because of belief. To annoy with persistence or urgent approach, such as attacks, pleas, importunities, or pester. You know, I didn't put it in this slide, but there's a situation that Shaul found himself in where this young woman was pestering him. Yeah, pestering him. All right, that's somebody always around there telling you how good you are and how wonderful you are. And like, what is, always in your back pocket. They think they're doing a good thing sometimes, but All right, let's talk about suffering. What is your definition of suffering? Define suffering. Persecution, suffering. Suffering. No hands. No hands. Oh, okay, okay. Go ahead, Aki.
I feel like suffering has to do with like patience and endurance.
Okay, suffering has to do with patience and endurance. Who else?
Never ending.
Never ending suffering. Okay. What you got, Aki?
Is it on? Pain.
Pain. Okay, has something to do with pain. Yahusha Dawood.
Yeah, going through hardships in life.
Hardships, suffering through life. Nama.
Continuing ill treatment.
Continued ill treatment. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put the definition up here. All right. Pain that is caused by injury, illness, loss. It can be physical, it can be mental, or emotional. I know Maury Kanan has covered a lot of this, and also Maury Miguel. Suffering, feelings of pain, the suffering of dying, of the dying, like pain, suffering. Seems sometimes it feels like it's never ending. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be emotional. All right. This is a. What do you think distress is? Another derivative of it, right? That call you? Nobody, right? Right. Distress. All right. Anxiety has something to do with distress. All right. Nobody else? Okay. Now, Mana.
I believe it means to be under continual stress. This stress, to be under continual stress.
Could be under continual stress. Yahusha Dawood.
Yeah, being in sorrow as well.
And sorrow. Okay. Who else? There's another hand up there. Okay. Got it. All right. Here we go. All right. Distress, distressing, distresses, to subject to great strain or difficulty. Homes distressed by poverty, archaic, to enforce or overcome by inflicting pain, to cause to worry or to be troubled, anxiety. Don't be upset. Don't let the news stress you out, like distress you. Something that can distress you is a transitive verb. All right, let's go. We got one more, I believe. Tribulations. What do you think tribulations are? You go through tribulations? Anybody go through tribulations? Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with struggles. A struggle.
It can be a struggle. Mana.
Right. I believe that tribulations is a combination of persecution, suffering, and distress, and it's continual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No
Right.
justice.
All right. Because all of it seem like it's synonymous with each other, right?
Can
Yeah, it's overlap to all of it. Some. Yeah. Yahusha Dawood.
Yeah, it's also something that's larger, great sufferings.
Okay. Larger great suffering. Okay. Let's go there. Let's say unhappiness, pain, suffering again, an experience that caused someone to suffer. A difficult experiences, problems. Right? Difficult experience of problems. We're gonna move right on. Oh, one more. I forgot about this one. Affliction. All these things. All these separate words, right? Yeah, they all kind of interlap. Let's just go. Affliction. This is what affliction is: a state of pain, distress, or grief, misery. It causes mental or bodily pain. You can be afflicted in your mind or afflicted in your body. It could be a sickness, loss, calamity, a situation going on, and or persecution can cause affliction. Can be the source of your afflictions. All right. So, with that, all these terms we have reviewed are used in correlation to the kingdom. All these terms: persecution, affliction, distress, just all the terms are used there, right? Mashiach called those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake blessed. Right? Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for their own sake. Okay, for righteousness' sake. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven, Shamaim. And blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely. On whose account? On Yahusha's account. Not because of stuff I do. Right? All right. So persecute. Right. Let's look at that word. All right. to cause suffering. You got three different, right? To cause to suffer, or to be or become subject of a systematic harassment and attack due to one's, he said, religious beliefs, one's beliefs, right? For on his account. All right. So he's saying righteousness' sake. What is righteousness as we know it? Righteousness. For righteousness' sake, what is righteousness? Yeah. Is it something that we should have on our?
Keeping the Father's laws, statutes, and commandments.
Okay. Lost that. Yaakov.
Yeah, I just want to say walking in the commandments, walking in the way of the Most High, his instructions.
You're going to be persecuted for that. You're going to be, somebody's going to cause you physical suffering or emotional suffering. They're going to harass you and attack you behind those beliefs. They're going to chase behind you, harassing you behind your belief in what you believe and what you stand for, right? But righteousness, let's just give a scripture for it. Right? We'll give this one. All right. Deuteronomy 6, 24, 25. And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah our Elohim for our good always, that he might be preserved, that we might preserve us alive as we are this day. And it will be righteousness for us if we are careful to do all of his commandments before Yahuwah our Elohim as he has commanded us. Then we also see the word revile, right? Now this is how we inherit this kingdom here, right? So let's revile. All right. It means to what? Reproach, mock, revile, to express criticism toward, to find fault with real or merely perceived faults in a harsh or demeaning manner. That to be against a person or against yourself or someone's doing it to you, to be reprimanded for real or merely perceived faults in a harsh or demeaning manner. To be reviled. Blessed are you when others criticize you harshly because you're holding up the commandments of the Most High. All right. All right. So this is another verse that talks about what that righteousness is, right? And it also tells us what not to do. Listen to me, you who know righteousness, the people in whose law is my heart is my law. Fear not the reproach of men, of a man, nor dismays over their rivalings, their fault finding, their criticizing of you because you're trying to keep the laws, the statutes, the commandments, the righteousness. You're seeking after the righteousness of the Most High, for not your own sake, but for who is Mashiach's account. He's our Savior. All right. You see this here. If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love you as its own, but because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the words that I have said to you, his servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they shall also keep yours. But all these things they will do to you on my account of me, my name, because they do not know him who sent me. They don't know him. They don't know who sent him. They don't know the Father. They have no relationship with him, right? But they're all doing this on his account, and say, but we ought to rejoice and be glad, for the reward is great in the Shamayim, for so the persecuted the prophets who were before you. Now remember that the apostles had a special assignment, the taught ones, right? They had a special assignment, so they are the example we're going to follow as we go through, because they face things that we're not facing. But guess what? The time is coming, is approaching, in our generation. A lot of times we think some of the smaller tasks, some of the other things that hit us, basically stuff that we do on our own, our own fault. Yeah. But right. Shaul was one who was persecuting the assemblies, You say, you have heard of my former life in Judaism or Yahudians, how I pursued or persecuted the assembly of Elohim violent and tried to destroy. He was killing people. Now, we're not facing that persecution right now. There's nobody coming to attack us right now. Yeah. But the thing is, we got to get our mind ready. As we're looking forward, we want to inherit this kingdom. We want to be a part of that. We might find ourselves in that generation facing that. So we're trying to fortify ourselves in that. All right. All right. In our pursuit of the kingdom, we must temper, as in make stronger and more resilient through hardship ourselves through the experience that we go through in this life, facing those who may chase us for the purpose of hindering our growth in righteousness, because we uphold the witness of Mashiach Yahushua. Right? A lot of times we feel our pressure from our family members, right? Our biological family members. There's going to be pressure within the assemblies too. All right. You got people that saying, you're not right, I'm right. Your way of thinking is wrong, my way of thinking is right. All right. All right. Mashiach admonished that at the time before his coming, those who are alive during that time will be delivered up to tribulations and put to death. Ain't that something? However, only those who endure to the end will be saved, right? We read that over here in Matthew 24:3-8. As he said on the Mount of Olives, disciples came to him, probably saying, tell us, when will these things be? And will the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Yahushua answered him, see that no one leads you astray. Remember last week about leading astray? For many will come in my name saying, I am Mashiach, and they will lead many astray. They're not coming from the outside. They're coming from the inside. Right? They're not coming from those that don't know him. There are a lot of people that's claiming to know him, claiming to walk with him, claiming to love him, claiming to know his name, claiming to be a part of him. They're going to be, all right? All right. For many will come in my name saying, I'm Mashiach, and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, that you are not, see that you are not alone, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, for there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginnings of the birth pangs. We've been seeing them for generations now. And right now we're in the midst of it. We got war looming right now, trying to figure out if we're going to have a civil war here in this country. You got people coming, you got people flooding into this country, and everybody trying to figure out what is going on. Where are all these people coming from? They're leaving, there's something about to happen, so we got to get our minds right, keep our head on the swivel, and know what's about to happen. Just recently, you had that thing with anybody got affected by the AT&T thing? I did. Yeah, Verizon, AT&T. Yeah, you next. Don't worry. In other words, it was a cyber attack, some type of cyber attack. All of a sudden there was no. That's what they say, right? Right. But all of a sudden your phone stopped working. Some worked, some didn't. But what happens when you lose contact with one another? You're away from home. Your car breaks down, EMP. You find yourself in a distressful situation, right? If you have them, if you're prepared, if you can afford them, right? Do you know how to get to your house from wherever you're at in the city? You know how to track back to the house. You might be 10 miles away, 20 miles away. How long it take you to walk 20 miles? you might do pretty good. But what happens if the sun get ready to go down? I just put this out there in your mind. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's the whole thing about preparedness. You never know what might happen at any time. And we lose communication. We can't talk to one another. So then all of a sudden we got divided just with that. We're so used to some things now. But like I said, most of us grew up in the age where before this technology became popular. You can go a whole day without talking to somebody. It didn't bother us. Like, oh, you ain't talked to me all day. And I mean, I was out. I'll see you when I get home. Where you been? I'm out and about. All right, let's keep going. All right. Oh, what you got now, Mana?
Shalom, Murray.
So,
We weren't attacked by the cyber attack, but our phones and stuff was acting real funny because it did hit California and parts of Colorado out here, because we have all kinds of mobile carriers, but our phones and stuff was acting real funny, like extremely real low, like some stuff on my tablet changed. I didn't touch it, but yeah, it was really strange. And out here, I don't know if you guys do it, we always keep emergency stuff in our cars because you just never know. Stuff can happen. You got to leave and be walking on foot.
Okay. All right. Moving on. All right, Matthew, it's going to drop down to the 9th, 14th. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death. Put you to death. And you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Who going to be putting us to death? Who is they? Religious people. Government, okay. Okay. They will hate you, all right? And many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. So that lets you know it's happening in the house. Right? Yeah. The ones that don't believe in the sign, a lot of times they're not paying you no attention unless you're disturbing their peace. If you don't disturb the hornet's nest, 9 times they ain't gonna mess with you. But when this is the person that's in the house, right? So we see that here. Oh, I'm sorry. Mana?
See, more isn't also the nations also that will be seeking and trying to put us to death also?
Oh yeah. If you're making enough noise, once you get if things start to happen and you start to resist, you're not just going along with the program. At some point we're gonna have to make a decision. Right? Can't just be going along to get along. I've said that many times in the past. You start making that decision towards righteousness. They're trying to get you to go against righteousness, and you're standing for righteousness. Then guess what? You become persecuted for righteousness' sake. Who do you think you are? What makes you better than us? I believe in God too. He's my God too. I believe in Jesus. He's my Savior. He died on the cross for me too. Right? All right. But you see here, Matthew 10, he gave a little more clarity. Brother will deliver up brother over to death. The father, his child, and the children will rise up against parents, and they have them put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But the one who endures shall do what? Endure to the end will be saved. And we keep on going. He said there are many false prophets that will arise and lead many. This is all happening in the house. This is not happening outside. We're not worried about the nation's leaders getting up there lying to us on TV. They're not thinking about us, but there are going to be others that want to heap people to themselves. Follow me. I have the truth. I have the real one. Let me debunk your leader. Let me debunk this one. Oh, he ain't telling you the right thing. That ain't right. That ain't good. That ain't wholesome. That ain't what the scriptures say. I'm gonna say smooth things. I want you to come to my side. I'm gonna prophesy to you. Yeah, you know. All right. It said, and during this process, and because of lawlessness, because of iniquity, because they don't love the law anymore, lawlessness will increase because love of many will grow cold. And we know what that love is, right? He said, if you love me, you do what? you'll keep my commandments. That's how we know the love is getting cold, when nobody wants to do the right thing. We want to find circumvent the system, in the house. All right.
Maury, I got a question regarding verse 12, and it says, because lawlessness would be increased, the love of many will grow cold. So I'm just kind of thinking, with what we go through now, like some of the tests and things that we go through now, it's revealing what's in the heart. So in order for that to happen, for your love to grow cold, would you say that it's possible that Father's word was never really rooted? It's possible. Because I'm looking at that, and it says, because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many.
I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. There's a reason for it. We talk about it. We talk about it. You can see the connection. I hope you're seeing the connection. I hope the rock is speaking to your heart. Right. This loving growing cold, but say the ones who hold on, persevere, do this persecution to the end will be saved. And this bestower of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony, as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Now, for years and generations now, since I was a boy, they've been, that was a whole big deal about PTL. Many people don't know that acronym, PTL. That was the biggest push from 1970 up until to now. The whole goal of that whole station was to trying to hasten the coming. No. You're gonna get money, but it was for the hastening of the coming. They said, let's get this over with. They was trying to make sure, hey, let's get this thing preached around the world, and that's why they was boasting. We got this thing going all over the world. All over the world. Yeah. And then here we are. It is, what year is it? And a lot of those people are in the grave. They're in the grave, sleeping in the grave. All right. All right. When the time of tribulation person comes, those who do not cultivate, here we go, going back to your question, right? They're not cultivate, as in to improve or develop by careful attention, training, or studying. It's an agricultural word to propagate growth and growing, but this is through the development and careful attention. Is how you can use that word interchangeably. The word to cultivate the word in their lives will find themselves easily falling away at the slightest offense. When you don't cultivate that word, you don't spend time in it, you don't start applying it. You just know it. You read it, you have a general understanding of it. You know that it exists, right? So we know this parable, right? Matthew 13. This is connected to that, all right? When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. Seed that was being sown. The seed is the word, right? And as for what was sown on rocky ground, right? This is where this iniquity is still in their heart, right? This is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Oh, that was so good. I really enjoyed that. I needed that. Oh, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yes. Oh, thank you, Yah. Yes. And has no root in themselves. It endures for a while, right? But when tribulation or persecution comes, right? When tribulation or persecution arises on the account of the word, right? Immediately he falls away. I'm out of here. I can't do this, right? It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you don't cultivate the word in your heart, you're not willing to fight for it. You don't just let it, I can't just put a seed in my garden and say, go for what you know, and then let the weeds overtake it. You know what I'm saying? Hoping it'll survive and then wonder why I ain't got a harvest. What happened? Why is it so small? It didn't grow past this, but I got weeds growing all around it, competing for nutrients and things, right? So here we go. And as for what was sown among the thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. You're striving for all the resources, trying to get a better spot, I neglect the weightier matters, trying to get a better spot in the world. All under the guise of trying to do better for my family. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this. Not really. You didn't buy the Mercedes Benz or the Bentley or the Jaguar for your family. You didn't buy the biggest house on the block or, trying to, get the biggest bank account for your family. Right? Nothing wrong with it now. If it comes because you qualified. You did the work, right? You did the work, but if it caused you to neglect your spiritual growth, your cultivation, if that's more important, well, that's all right. I'll miss this feast day. I gotta work there. I can't. No. I gotta get this. I gotta do that. I don't have. Well, Yahuwah understands. Yahuwah understands. He the one that blessed me with this anyway, so he knew I was. Yeah. But when you have a choice in the matter, when you're a slave, you don't really have a choice, right? When you're a slave, you don't have a choice. But when you're a free agent, you have a choice. You say, well, look, you the boss, you the manager, or you are close to the manager, you got favor in the company, but I had this opportunity to make this overtime. I want to get this bonus in. I got my trip to Jamaica coming. All right. As for what is sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. They cultivate that thing. He indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case, 100-fold, in another 60, and another 30. Now, everybody's not all equal. Each year, you might get better and better. Each year, you get better and better. Get to the point where it's full mature. You get 100-fold. Like, it's a bumper crop. Sometimes you might just get 30, but you keep on working. All right. Now, let's keep going. All right. One may have to endure various sufferings in this life, right? You have to make decisions in line with the wisdom that has been entrusted to you during that season. If you endure, we will be able to found worthy to reign with Mashiach, right? So this suffering and reigning, right? Suffering, you got to suffer with him to reign with him, right? All right, let's look at this. 2 Timothy 2:1. And this is Shaul writing to Timothy, giving some advice, some fatherly guidance. He say, you then, my child, be strengthened by the favor that is in Mashiach Yahushua, and what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, and trust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. That's the purpose of us, those who are Sharats and those who are Mores and those who are elders, that have this word that's being taught to them that you may share with others, not to keep it for yourself. We're trying to expand the kingdom. Right? Expand the kingdom. You're doing no good if you're just sitting there trying to hold on to the little bit you got and you're not giving it out to nobody else. You can't really grow. All right. You would share in suffering as good soldiers of Mashiach Yahushua. No soldier gets entangled with the civilian pursuits, since his aim is to please the one who has enlisted him, right? Speaking in military terms there. When you are going to the military, for those who know, we can't be thinking about what's going on back home when we got to go face something out there. You got to go to battle. The counts have to be settled at home, so you can focus on what you have to, the task at hand. All right, so you put those other pursuits aside. Don't get entangled with the worldly things. And an athlete is not crowned unless he competes according to the rules. Right? It is the hard-working farmer who ought to have the first share of the crops. Right? Think over what I say, for Yahuwah will give you understanding in everything. Remember, Yahushua Mashak, raised from the dead, the offspring of David, has as preached in my Besorah, for which I am suffering, bound with chains as a criminal. Can you find yourself, because you're standing for righteousness' sake, you might find yourself in prison. Not because you did something illegal or something against the Most High, but something you did, they figured, hey, my interpretation of this is you violating the instructions of this community. You're violating the instructions of this nation. We told you not to do something, and you did it anyway because you were following the instructions of the Most High. All right? You find yourself in chains. He found himself in chains, right? But the word of Elohim is not bound. Therefore, I endure everything for the sake of the elect, that they also may be obtained the salvation that is in Mashiach Yahushua with eternal esteem. He was pursuing this irregardless of the danger of his own self. They all were. That's how we got this information. They were all doing this, promoting this throughout the known world. And it's now, we're still talking about it today. It was here when I got here. Guess what? It's going to be here after I'm gone, and it's going to still be talking about it. And one day we might have to do that. In some countries, they have underground assemblies where they can't gather in public, where the nation is against them promoting anything that has to do with the book. Whether they understand in their language, wherever it is. But we don't face that right now. We have the freedom to share freely with others right now. But there's going to come a time when they're going to be cutting us off the internet. We got to do pirating. The saying is trustworthy. For if I die with him, we shall also live with him. If we endure, we'll also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. So if you want to reign with him, you're going to have to endure suffering as a good soldier. You have to deal with the heartaches when they come. Or is it going to be like, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to, Father, help me. This is too much. I'm going to go back. Because of my appetite, because of what I want, I'm going to go after the things in the world because this is the easier path. He'll understand. He knows he knows as much as I can bear. But he's giving you an opportunity to reign. If you want to reign, you have to go through. All right. All right. I say these things to you that in me you may have peace. And in the world you will have tribulations. But take heart, I have overcome the world. It's coming. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have heartache. You're going to have pain. You have persecution. People are going to pursue you at some point. But don't let it be for your own sake, for the things that you do, the decisions you make. No sense of you sitting there grogging about stuff you did to your own self. I ain't going to tell you about the stuff I did. You know what I'm saying? Stuff I do to myself, I keep to myself. That was my fault on that one. I'm not going to be talking about, oh, woe is me. I'm going through, the devil's on me. Y'all pray for me. The devil got me. No, I done made a bad decision. I'm going to suffer through this and ask the Father to have mercy upon me, to let me endure this chastisement I'm about to go through because I made a bad decision. All right. The understanding of tribulations and suffering is something those who seek to be esteemed with Mashiach and enter the kingdom were taught by the Mashiach and the sent ones, all right, the apostles. All right, Romans 8:14-17. For all who are led by the Ruach of Elohim are the sons of Elohim. For you did not receive the spirit of slavery or bondage to fall back into fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption of sons, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. Father, Father. That's how we go. Father, he's our Father. We can call on him. And the Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And if children, then heirs, and heirs of Elohim, and fellow heirs with Mashiach, provide that we do what? Suffer with him, in order that we may be also esteemed with him. If you don't want to suffer, you don't want to go through for his name's sake, you don't want to go through for righteousness' sake, then there's no expectation of you reigning. Because you can't, that's an entry into the kingdom. Right? Suffering could be you putting away your own attitude, your own behavior, your own thought patterns, dealing with yourself, right? That harassment, the pursuit, that constant chasing, trying to wrestle within yourself. But you want to be esteemed with him. You're going to put away yourself, and then it comes with more, because as he give you assignments, you have to be willing to be obedient to those assignments. Let's go on. All right, it's not going to be much longer. All right, but the Jews came from Antioch and Iconium. This is an example of what they went through and how they encouraged the saints. Right, and the Jews came to Antioch and Iconium, and having persuaded the crowds, they stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, supposing that he was dead. Attempted murder. You might get shot. He survived. But when the disciples gathered about him, he rose up and entered the city and went on the next day and went on with Barnabas to Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had made many disciples, they returned to Lystra and to home and to Antioch, strengthening the souls of the disciples, so the taught ones, encouraging them to continue in the faith and saying, through many tribulations, we must enter the kingdom of Elohim. It's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. It's not just going, hey, I believe I made it. Right? And I'm going to reign with him. But when trials came, tribulations came, instead of you facing adversity that is brought before you for his name's sake and standing in his word, you shrink back. And he says he has no pleasure in those that what? He has no pleasure in those that do what? All right, that's one. There was another one. That's a direct quote. There's no pleasure in those that draw back. He has no pleasure in those. All right. All right. The 12 sent ones had a special assignment in earth. However, they are the example of how we should view our time during suffering and as we await our dawn. So, all right. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Adon Yahushua Mashiach, the Father of mercy and Elohim of all comfort, who comforts us. This word for comfort is encourage in our afflictions, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction. He comforts us in our affliction, that we may comfort others in their afflictions. That don't mean we're not going through, just because you're looking good on the outside don't mean you're not going through something. Yeah, but we know who we depend upon, and we see this later. For the comfort, with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by Elohim, for as we share abundantly in Mashiach's sufferings, we shared abundantly in Mashiach's comforting. So through Mashiach we have shared abundantly to comfort too. If we are afflicted, it is for your comfort, your encouragement and salvation. And if we are comforted, it is for your comfort, which you experience when you patiently endure the same afflictions that we're suffering. Can you imagine that? At that time, they were going through the same thing. The believers, new believers, people that just came up, and whatever Paul and the apostles were going through, they were going through. They were facing death. They were facing their properties being ransacked. They was facing their families being torn apart. They was facing their imminent death. We don't even know what that's like right now in our generation. We don't have that understanding. We think about it, what we do. We go buy a whole bunch of guns. We're going to batter down the happy. We're ready to fight. I'll be doggone to take it from me out of my cold, dead hands. I'm going to lay them down. You know, if they want to get you, they're going to get you. And are you ready to lay down your life for Mashiach's sake? Lay your life down. Not just a figuratively, or just spiritually. Are you ready to lay your life down? That's where you got to make your mind go. Yeah. Because if the time comes, that's what's going to happen. The great tribulation, now we ain't got there yet. The great tribulation, you're going to have to lay your life down. Not everybody going to survive. Your head might be coming off your neck. Are you willing? You see, to live is Mashiach, but to die is what? Mm-hmm. But that's under constant threat. We say it easily now because we don't have no threat. I can always say what I'm going to do until the pressure comes. All right. Yeah, we read about it. All right. For we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the afflictions we experienced in Asia. For we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we were despair of life itself. We was ready to die. That was that tough. We haven't been in that position like that. We get a headache and we overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? I got my toe. Oh, my toe hurts. Oh, Father, heal my toe. I can't take this. Oh. Huh? We get small little things, light afflictions. We think this, yeah, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it today. Yeah, brother, I got a toe, my pinky nail is swollen, and I'm gonna have to call out. Yeah, can't do it. I'm suffering right now. Pray for me, and you who will heal my body. Indeed, we felt that we had received a sentence of death. That's despair, distress they were under. But that was to make us rely not on ourselves, but on Elohim who raised the dead. If I die, I live. Do you have that mindset? Somebody stick that pistol in your face. You say, oh, my life flashed before my eyes. I said, what you gonna do with that? Send me home? Huh? What you gonna do with that? Send me to my reward? Send me, because I'm not gonna be worried about this thing back here. I know there's gonna be flower bringing and slow singing, my family but I got insurance. They're gonna have a little something coming. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna continue on. But I'm not afraid of death. And especially, I'm not gonna put myself in a situation, right? But if I find myself in a situation, my trust is in Elohim. And if my situation comes from me preaching his esteem and lifting up the name of Mashiach, and somebody wants to snuff this candle out, and it's for his name's sake, then hey, my life is yours. My life is in your hands. And I don't want nobody crying and weeping and talking about, I thought he was in Yah. I thought Yah was his protection, his shield, his banner. Yeah, he is. But my life is his. And Mashiach suffered in what? He said, they don't take my life, they what? I lay my life. Lay it down, lay your life down. But if you're thinking about, oh my goodness, oh, I guess prayer doesn't work. Don't even think like that. My life is in his hand. All right, he delivered us from such a deadly peril, and he will deliver us. And on him we have set our hopes that he will deliver us again. And this is our example. This is one of our examples as we're getting prepared. Because everything, we might not make it. Some of us might survive this tribulation. We might not see the next day. We might leave loved ones behind. That might be our assignment. All right. All right. Okay, I'm almost done. All right. This is the evidence of the righteous judgment of Elohim, that you may be considered worthy of the kingdom of Elohim, for which you are also what? Suffering. Not taking it easy, not just skating through, not just floating by, because you're suffering for this thing. Since indeed that time is coming now. Since indeed Elohim considered it just to repay the afflictions to those who afflicted you, and to grant relief to you who are afflicted, as well as to us, when Adon Yahushua is revealed from the heavens with his mighty Malachim in flaming fire, inflicting vengeance on those who do not know Elohim. This is why they're attacking you, because they don't believe in Yah. They don't believe in Yah. They've chosen their Elohim. They don't. I don't know who your Yah is. Right? He's gonna inflict this vengeance on those that don't know Him, and on those who do not obey. You heard the word, but you refuse to obey the Basorah of Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? This is Basorah. Let's look at it. If we, because this has tied to this is saying something about Yahuwah when you don't obey the Basorah of Adon Yahushua. If we receive the testimony of men, the testimony of Elohim is greater. For this is the testimony of Elohim that He has borne concerning His Son. Whoever believes in the Son of Elohim has this witness in himself, this testimony. Whoever does not believe Elohim has made him a liar. Right? Because he has not believed in the testimony of the witness that Elohim has borne concerning His Son. And this is the testimony that Elohim has given us eternal life. You don't obey the Basorah? You don't believe that? You don't receive it? This is the testimony He gave us eternal life, and this life is in His Son. And whoever has the Son has life, and whoever does not have the Son of Elohim does not have life. Does not have life. They will suffer the eternal punishment, punishment of eternal destruction, away from the presence of Yahuwah and from His esteem of His might. You'll be cast out of His presence. You're going to suffer this destruction out of His presence. And when He does come on that day to be esteemed in His saints and to be marveled at among all those who believe, because our testimony to you was believed. You believed the Basorah. You believed the testimony of Elohim and of His Son. All right. Now I'm almost at this. I'm finished here. And this is where we want to be, right? This you want to be two places. This is one. Then I saw thrones, and seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. Also I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Yahushua and the word of Elohim, and those who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received the mark on their forehead or their hands. And they came to life and reigned with Mashiach for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead did not come to life until 1,000 years were ended. And this was the first resurrection. Right? There's a suffering that has to happen. Whether it's you dealing with yourself and overcoming yourself, because those who overcome will reign. Those who overcome will reign, overcome their own behaviors, overcome their own mindset, overcome themselves, right? And then there's sufferings that you're going to have to deal with, and then amongst each other, right? This is a training ground. I talk about this all the time. When we have conflicts amongst each other, we deal with it with each other, right? It's going to cause us to grow. It's going to expose our hearts, and you're going to have to make decisions, whether I'm going to stand or whether I'm going to fall away, whether I'm going to hold tight to the testimony of the witness of Elohim, or whether I'm going to reject it and say it's too much for me, and I'll find me something else, or I'll go somewhere else. You can't run away from it. I don't care if you're here or you're somewhere else in another assembly somewhere. All this applies to everyone who's trying to be a part of that kingdom, of His kingdom. I don't care where you go. It's going to follow you around, and your heart will be exposed in that. And with that,